Welcome to Vantage View Estate Juja, a premier project by Finsco Africa, offering you a breathtaking development in Kiambu County where beauty meets investment and modern living. Located along Juja Gatundu Road, just 37 kilometers from Nairobi CBD and 6 kilometers from the Thika Superhighway, Vantage View Estate Juja is conveniently located while offering a peaceful green escape and growth. Start your journey with 8-acre plots available at just 2.2 million. Nestled in a lush environment, these plots are ideal for businesses strategically placed along tarmac roads within our planned commercial hub. Vantage View Estate isn't just about land, it's a lifestyle. The estate boasts natural water resources for recreational activities like boat rides and serene picnic spots. Planned is also a resort, shopping center, hospital, and a school. Vantage View Estate Juja offers you all the necessary amenities. Quarter-acre plots are also available at 4.2 million, perfect for crafting your dream home in a gated, serene community. At Vantage View Estate Juja, you can choose from our semi-controlled, semi-serviced plots or our gated, fully serviced plots. Beautiful, green, full of potential, whether for investment or living, Vantage View Estate Juja is where your future begins.
Right, karibu sana thini wa KOGI'S Corner Edition. Nĩ thaa 1:34 mathaa marĩa tũmenyerete gũkorwo tũgĩka show, no nĩ tondũ wa maũndũ na itũmi itangĩhota gũtigĩrĩrĩka kana gũtarĩrĩka nĩtũkorwo tũkĩambĩrĩria show itũ mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ arĩ tene mũno makĩria, and the first show kũmĩka tene thaa 1 rĩu ĩkĩrĩ na ndagĩka 34 harĩa hothe ũrĩ ũgĩtũrorera bũrũri-inĩ wa Mũgĩkũyũ, reke twaranĩrie tũcire twarĩrie maũndũ marĩa matatũhutia ta Kenya, na ona tũkorwo tũkĩrora ahead kana kĩrĩa kĩretwo the finance bill ĩrĩa ĩkuhĩrĩirie gũkorwo ĩgĩthiĩ na mbere. Tuonete maũndũ maingĩ makoretwo magĩthiĩ ho, na ho tũkorwo tũkĩmũrĩka ũtongoria wa bũrũri ũyũ harĩa ũkinyĩte na harĩa andũ marauga makinyĩtio ha nĩ ũtongoria ũyũ. Tũrore maũndũ megiĩ ũndũ gwĩtwo biacara na economy ihana ta atĩa, na koguo wĩkare mĩtambo-inĩ thiĩ na mbere gũtwerorera na gũtwandĩkĩra kũhetũkĩra MC Kogi Investor harĩa Facebook ona YouTube KOGI'S Corner. Uthie haria like, share, comment na uria kiuria giothe ungienda na uria ungienda gukorwo ugicangĩra thiini wa mwira ngukorwo ngirehe u no riu ni ndaugire irikoragwo ekire surprise na muthenya umwe tukorwo tukimurika maundu mothe mahutĩtie Wanjikũ na njĩra nene, na kĩo ndimweteire njamba itari na guoya, njamba yaragĩrĩria Wanjikũ na twĩtwo thaa ici nĩ kuma tene, na ũndũ ũrĩa nyendeire mũgeni witũ muthenya wa ũmũthĩ mĩena ĩrĩa yothe anakorwo arĩ akoretwe mundu wa musimamo, ndari ati akorwe mundu wa kigeugeu ati umuthi umuone rucie guku athiaga nginya muthenya waoya wa mwisho kwagire kana kwage, no ndegũthi gatagati atuĩke nĩ abahatisha na etagwo wakiri Ndegwa Njirũ, na nĩ wakiri tũĩ nĩ arakorirwo agĩtũmenyithia maũndũ maingĩ mũno hĩndĩ ya impeachment na agĩtũria Mutuse. Are you with us?
Yeah.
I'm with us. Na kogo leo tuenda kwa mmoja mmoja. Karibu sana wakili.
Thank you so much Kogi.
Hapa ndio kona.
Asante sana. Yes. It is a pleasure.
Asante.
Gukoro twina muthenya wa mundi. Ningorete ngurumirite muno ngora kwa murumiri waku KOGI'S Corner. Ndajire gukurumirira na ritakuwi. Na ningorete numirite show ciaku nyingi muno.
Asante.
Na mawira maria urarutira bururi. Tondu bururi ukuraga ni undu wa kugena kindu gitagwo information. Na kumenyithia andu maundu maria marekika.
Yes.
Ndio kama ni kunyita ugeni. Ona ni undu wa miari swali ni miari very humbling.
Yes.
And it makes me to be very much humbled. Na ndikiwe ntukirenda gukeithia muthikiria witu kuria guothe ari.
Yes.
Areme Kirinyaga gwitu areme diaspora na areme gukubururi-ini wa Kenya kona cionde cia Kenya ndamukinyiria ngeithi ciakwa nyingi muno. Na ndimwire ithuĩ tũrĩ thiini wa ituria itungati thiini wa one term movement na ututirauma na ututiragwa na ithuĩ the concept kana principle ya one term movement tugatiga kumiuga ria tukainokia kasongo.
Haya, what next after one term?
What next after one term Kogi ni guthondeka bururi, ni ku restore bururi, ni ku rebuild bururi, ni ku reclaim bururi, So after one term movement wana twatwara Kasongo mucie and I have no doubts in my mind tondu mathagu tweka ni maraingirana wega ati Kasongo no nginya inoke na thutha wa kwinukia Kasongo what will follow next ni gucokia bururi thiini wa mutaratara wa gigatiba na mutaratara wa watho.
So one term movement,
yes.
First Kasongo abainuke.
Kasongo abainuke.
What is the plan for the failed system ira murauga SHA is not working?
Yes.
Mukauga economic sabotage yakorwo ikuo nyingi muno.
Yes.
Na mukaria horo wa maundu maingi muno ma promised nyamu itari irakinya ati ni gutwika ni cihingite.
Yes.
Mwene mubango kana mugakinya hau nyingi mwambia gutwira.
As at now kira twina kyo thaici Kogi ni kuthi turathi tugicokanagiriria andu tukiaragiria andu na tukiendagiria andu ideology ya the one term movement nigetha andu mambe metikanie na ithu tondu concept ya one term movement is a concept by itself. It's an agenda. Iyo ni agenda yonyene tondu maundu maria mathukite bururi uyu matigibota kuthondekeka Kasongo egitini.
Okay.
Kwa agenda ya mbere ni kwamba kumuinukia kwa Sugoi. Twarikene na kumuinukia tuthondeke thirikari iria ikuthondekwa kuringana na mutaratara wa gatiba na mutaratara wa watho ira tukaga na kithungu constitutionalism and the rule of law. Bururi witu kinyete bugo kinyete wanangikite gu wanangikite waganu wingibite gu wingibite ni undu ni twatigire kuthigacira kana kabarabara ka mutaratara wa gatiba.
Harina kaundu na kamwe wonete thirikari no yekite kega
gutiko kega ndingiuga yekite no njuge kwena kaundu kega yekite.
Okay.
Ni yekite kaundu kega muno ga gutuma andu memenye na andu mamenye ati kura yao kana kura yaku no itume ugie na thina miaka 5. Kura yaku no wike kura yaku uthure president uria gakoragwa akiuraga ciana cianyu koni kaundu kega tumenyete ni tumete tumenya ati kura yaku no uthi wiki uthure president oke atume anine maundu ma urigitani thibitari-ini cianyu mwarigitagwo na njira cia raithi kana cia bure ciage. Kura yaku Kasongo ni atumete tumenye ati ungithura president muru na thirikari njuru kithomo kianyu no gisambaratike. Acio ni maundu maria mega atumete tumenye. What am I saying? He has awakened our consciousness.
Haya, Mheshimiwa Wakiri, when you talk about one term, you as Wakiri,
yes,
I would 101% agree with you because you are not part of this regime.
And I've never been.
You are against
yes,
the formation of the government of today.
Yes.
But Wakiri, those of principals who are within the Itungati movement and the one term movement, they contributed 100%
yes,
in the formation of the today's government.
That's correct.
Now today, they are here again with another narrative. Is a one term movement. Juzi ikakuwa ngumu. Anasema hii serikali ilifanya he contributed. Akasema hatutapatia mtu na chama yetu hajasoma. And the people who are in the position today, including you losing your seat in Kirinyaga, is because you are not in the yellow fever. Ni yeye ali contribute. Tutapata serikali ya one term imeenda, then we go back at the same tuanze narrative ingine.
I think you are referring to the sentiments that have been aired or expressed by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. That's correct, right? And to be honest, he has been man enough and a gentleman enough to accept that he contributed to the mess. And he has not just stopped that by appreciating and accepting and expressing. He has also gone ahead to seek and to express his apologies to the people of Kenya. That tells you Saul has become Paul. And I like it the way he's saying. He's saying that part of the reason why this country is in this mess is because we never evaluated and analyzed the quality of the leaders we were electing. During that particular time, as long as you affiliated to the Yellow Fever movement, you became eligible for voting or for election. But now he has gone further and said that he is going to make sure that we have quality leaders.
Which criteria?
People with capacity.
Which criteria?
Of course, we are able to tell quality. If you need to hire a CEO of Safaricom, perhaps you may go for a person who is knowledgeable in matters of IT. If you want to hire a person to run your law firm, you'll not go for a mechanic, you'll go for a lawyer. If you want to hire a dentist, you'll not go for a veterinary, you'll go for a dentist. If you want to fix your car, you'll not take it to Kenyatta Hospital, you'll take it to Glogon. What am I saying? That we have the capacity and the ability of determining who is qualified for this particular job.
If I frame that these are the outcome of the bitterness because they are out of this government, which they fought very hard to have it in the day. And again, those who are in the position, they have full endorsement from him. Maybe if he is in the government today, he could not be talking the same language he is today.
We must appreciate that man is to error. There were mistakes that were made in the past, and not just His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. It is the people whom he is leading that have vowed this, that never again shall we repeat this mistake. So he's just amplifying the voice of the people. What the people want on the ground, ukisikiza ground, wanasema we want change. They have seen how it can affect them if they were to elect an inept parliament. If you elect a parliament that is a moribund as it is today, a parliament that is capable of being captured by the power that be, you realize that people will lose their power, people will lose their representation, people will lose their voice. So that is a mistake that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is addressing. And I do not see the possibility of the community or the nation called Kenya repeating the same mistake again. And that's why he's calling them out. Hey, watch out, do not repeat this mistake again. So to me, I hear him very well and very clearly that his agenda is to rectify the mistakes that were previously done.
Let me talk about that this formation is here to help Rigathi Gachagua to do his revenge.
No.
He's on a revenge because he felt betrayed.
The statement that you are making is a statement that Kasongo is making. Kasongo is saying, instead of addressing the substantive issues we are raising, he's labeling us as tribalist, he's labeling us as bitter people, he's labeling us as people who are full of hate, spite, and dislike, instead of addressing the issues that we are raising. I can now see that partly you're also reading from the same page.
No.
We are not saying this out of bitterness, out of spite, out of hatred. We are saying this because everybody appreciates that the country is headed to the wrong direction. And by the way, it is not just a saying. TIFA polls evidently shown that 75% of Kenyans have lost faith in this country. 75% is not His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. When you look at the population of 75%, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is a drop in the ocean. He's just amplifying the voice of the masses. And therefore, anybody who is calling us tribalist, anybody who is saying that, oh, you are doing this out of bitterness and hatred, is completely missing the point and is misconceived. Let me just take this point further. When Kasongo came to Mount Kenya region, he pitched his tent there. Every day, every Sunday, every day he would be in Mount Kenya region. People from Mount Kenya region overwhelmingly voted for Kasongo, knowing that he's a Kalenjin.
Sure.
Knowing that he had been accused at the ICC for the Kiambaa exterminations and the Kiambaa massacre. But they nevertheless voted for him. They failed to vote for Reverend Mwaure, who is a Kikuyu. As at then, we were not tribalists. But now, because we have said no to Kasongo.
By then, they were claiming that there was a debt. Yangu Kumi.
It's not us who had the debt. he could have sought the debt from the person who had taken in the debt. That was His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. But let me just
But the president negotiated on our behalf as a debt.
Well,
he was a representative of Kikuyu when he said yangu kumi yako kumi.
Then if that was the case, then the debt is now fully paid.
So now people are now in the default.
Now we have decided that we shall not pay this debt in installments.
Okay.
Tutailipa mara moja once and for all. But permit me to mention something about tribalism.
Right.
Many a times, the concept and the principle of tribalism has been abused. Every time masses of people rises, and especially from Mount Kenya region and Mount Kenya South, we are labeled as tribalist. Why? Because they do not want us to pull our strength, our numerical strength together. Remember, our numerical strength shall never be pulled unless you are either a Kikuyu, a Meru, a Kamba, or an Embian. Because if you come from Mount Kenya region, you must fall into those four categories of ethnic extractions. But then we are saying, what is wrong with the Kikuyus, the Merus, the Embus, the Kambas pulling their numerical strength on the basis of their tribe to vote out Kasongo? What is wrong with the Masais coming up with the numerical strength of Masais and cast a vote against Kasongo? What is wrong with the Kisis coming with the vote block of the Kisis and vote out Kasongo? Equally well, what is wrong with the Luyas coming out as Luyas and consolidating and mobilizing themselves as Luyas with an agenda and views of voting out Kasongo, and equally well even for the Mijikenda? To me, that is a positive mobilization and positive utilization of the tool of tribalism. And we shall be using it for good purpose, because we are using it to save the country from sinking.
You are right. Up the point, I agree with you.
Yes.
But I want us to come at this point. You are a wakiri, and your field, you do it factual, fact.
Yes.
That is what contributes to the field that you serve. Do we have the capacity to make sure that Kasongo is a one-time project?
Oh yes. It's not just the capacity. We have the ability. We have the resolve. We have the wherewithals. We are determined. We are committed. We are living in the possibilities of the one-term presidency, and we are working towards that possibility. We are investing towards that possibility. We are waking up to that possibility, and every day we are marching forward towards that possibility.
How are you going to work it out?
Look at it. Kasongo garnered 47% of his votes from Mount Kenya region, which translates to about 3.4 million thereabouts. So now 4 million is not with Kasongo anymore. So he remains with 3 million votes. Baba got 1 point something million votes from Mount Kenya region. That 1 million votes is no longer with Baba. It's now with us.
Let me take the calculator now. Tupelekane pamoja.
Yes, yes.
Tuanze sasa.
Tumesema Kasongo garnered 47% of the votes from Mount Kenya region. Noting that he garnered 7.2 million votes.
Yes.
What is 47% of that?
that is 11.
Yeah?
11.
No, I'm saying he garnered 7.2 million votes.
Yes.
What is 47% of 7 million votes?
That's allowed, let me try to do it's allowed 7%.
No, it's around 3.8 million votes. Call it 4 million.
4 million.
So now 4 million votes removed from Kasongo's to 7.2. He remains with 3.2. Baba garnered 1 million votes from Mount Kenya region. Zitoe kwa Baba zilete hapa kwa Mount Kenya region. That's 5 million votes solid. Now 3 then again Baba garnered 3 million votes from Ukambani. Now Ukambani is not with Baba. So subtract almost 4 million votes from Baba. That is to say 1 from the Mount Kenya region and 3 for His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
The Kamba community has
yes.
Water.
They are not there. So that is that is 4 million. Add our 4 million, that is 8 million.
8 million.
Sasa, because there is a broad-based government, add 3 million for Raila and 3 million for Kasongo. That's 6. Just on a 2 region. We've not spoken about Kisii community. We've not spoken about the Luhya community who are also coming, and the Mijikenda community. So there's no possibility that Kasongo come the second Tuesday of August 2027 will step his foot in State House again.
It's a done deal.
It's done and dusted.
Having the broad-based government is not going to make
it has made the situation worse because it has made Baba lose the Kamba support. It has made Baba lose the Luhya support.
What about the narrative that there have never been a one-term president?
Well, that is a narrative that is being perpetuated by people who do not believe in the possibility of the power of the people. It has happened. It happened in Liberia with George Weah. It has happened, I think it has also happened in Senegal. And it will happen again.
What if Ruto makes a comeback, whether voted or by sword? What will happen in this nation?
Now, that's a very interesting question. Whether by the power of the vote or by the power of the sword.
Yes.
The fact is that he has no possibility of coming back by the power of the vote because he does not have those votes. The maths are not mathing for him. They are not adding up whatsoever. So the other question is then, can he then opt to use the sword? The moment Kasongo will decide to use the sword as a means of getting back to power, he will understand that we have a constitution to defend. Article 3 of the constitution provides that everybody has a duty to uphold
making Ruto possible for the term 2. Making Ruto possible for the term 2.
No, it is no possibility that he can even rig the number of the votes.
They are saying the masses of the Northeastern.
The margin through which we shall have won the elections
maybe
will be so huge that rigging will be impossible, because we shall win this election with over 3 to 4 million votes. I don't see how we can register 4 million votes or 4 million citizens from Northeastern. It's not possible. And even if you are to register them, they cannot counter what we are the current existing votes. But again, number 2, remember that we promised Kenyans that we are going to court over that issue. The petition challenging that decree is being marinated. It is in the kitchen. Anytime soon, that petition will be filed by the Mount Kenya jurists, who are an organization of Mount Kenya law advocates, which I chair. Number 2, we are not saying that anybody should be discriminated. That is not what we are saying, because Article 27 of our Constitution speaks about equality before the law, that we are all equal before the law, and we are entitled to equal treatment and equal benefits of the law. And so it is that even our brothers from the Northeastern, they are equally entitled to that benefits and equal treatment. But we are saying that the country is at war with Somali. And then we're also saying that our brothers from the north, you border a very porous boundary. So we are not simply saying that we are vetting you because we are suspicious that you guys are not our brothers. No. We are saying we are vetting you because there is high likelihood of penetration by aliens into our country because of the fact that the country is at war with a neighboring country and the boundaries are porous. And previously we have been having problems with that boundary. That's the only reason why we are saying, please vet them. We are not vetting them to ascertain whether they, because we doubt that they are Kenyan. They are actually Kenyans, but there is possibility of infiltration.
Talk the Gen Z constituency.
Yes.
They are in masses. Ni wengi. What if now they get mobilized and they ensure they have the voters cards? Will they be a factor to determine now whether Kasongo will go home and the other side of factor?
Let me tell you, Kogi, Gen Z has already made that determination. And the good thing about our brothers and sisters of the Gen Z generation is that their vote is being mobilized as against Kasongo. As and when they register to become voters, they will cast their vote against Kasongo. So we are speaking the same language, because what we are saying is that all what we want is to get Kasongo out of State House. And remember I said that anybody who subscribes to the ideology and the philosophy of the one-term movement, anybody who confesses to the principles of one-term movement, anybody who believes in the one-term movement, anybody who does anything towards actualizing the realization of the one-term movement is an ally. That's one thing. Number two, that ally who conforms to the dictates of our beliefs is a potential presidential candidate. But we shall have a mechanism through which we shall settle as to who will be our running mate. Because at the end of the day, we only need one president. That is to say, even the generation of the Gen Zs, as long as they prescribe and they believe in the possibility of one-term movement, there can be a presidential candidate coming from that group. And that's why we are appealing to them to join us in fighting Kasongo, in fighting to liberate our country, in fighting to reclaim our country, in fighting to restore law and order in our country, in fighting to restore the doctrines and the principles of constitutionalism in our country and the reign of the rule of law. That's why we are inviting them, because we are saying, as long as we prescribe to this ideology, we are all potential presidential candidates. And therefore, as and when time is ripe, we shall be able to settle on one presidential candidate who shall face it out with Kasongo and square it out.
To make a reality for a one-term movement,
yes,
you must have one choice of a presidential.
Yes.
And out of the aspirant, or not aspirant, the principals who are there.
Yes.
Who are you proposing to be the flag bearer?
Koge, you did not get my argument. I said, anybody who professes and confesses and believes in the ideology and the reality of the one-term movement and the possibility that one-term movement is achievable. Anybody who dares to dream that Kasongo is a one-term movement and lives towards actualizing that dream is a potential presidential candidate.
So you want to tell me, Wakiri, a man from...
So what that is to say, we have, you know, the maths are now clear that 75% are not with Kasongo.
Right.
And therefore 75% are the people who believes in the ideology of the one-term movement.
Correct.
From that 75%, we shall have one presidential candidate.
And that is my point comes here. I'm saying a man from Kiajokoma who wants, who contribute to the ideology, and submit that one-term movement is possible.
I want our listeners, our listeners to get this very clearly, that we, the people who are in the front line, we are just doing what
you are the pace setter.
We are the pace setters, and we are doing what the job to do.
To prepare the way for the
We are just preparing the way. That's what we are doing. And because there must be somebody who must prepare this way. So for the person who shall come and baptize people with the fire to come and to find a road that is well laid. A man from Kajakoma who build of a person who is capable of restoring the country to the path of the rule of law and constitutionalism is capable of becoming a president. And therefore that person is our partner. Even a man from Madare, a man from Kibera, a man from Isabenia, a man from Lolongo, even the man from Elwak or Ramu or Mogadashe, is or Garissa. He who believes in the possibility and lives in the reality of one-term movement is a potential presidential candidate. And therefore that is why we are calling upon him to join us.
There is this saying, that one day in politics
Yes.
equals or 100 days.
Yes, they say so.
And everything in politics is possible.
Yes.
Do you think the period that
Space is there. Time and the number against Kasongo will continuously increase from 75% to 80% to 90%.
Okay.
And that's what we are saying. If I were him, and if Kasongo was a gentleman enough, and I'm sorry to assume that he is, he would have resigned. Because a 75% is a vote of no confidence as against Kasongo. If this was Europe, say for example Germany, and mature democracy like the UK democracy, Kasongo would be home today. He would not be waiting for humiliation and embarrassment at the ballot, because Kasongo, we shall humiliate you and we shall embarrass you at the ballot box. Take that to the bank. Take that to Sugoi.
The president still holds that the country is heading in the right direction. He still holds that the remaining part is going to deliver to him. That is why he decided yet.
Kasongo.
He still feels that the affordable housing are going now to make change.
Listen,
Yeah.
Kasongo really stretch his imaginations. He really does puts a lot of efforts in stretching and overstretching his imaginations.
Okay.
And I don't know which country he lives in. Have you ever seen a president anarushiwa kiatu na mtu?
That was by a mistake.
It was not a mistake.
There was a footage.
No.
All what went down.
It was not a mistake.
It was a mistake.
It was a
We have
reality.
the footage.
It was a process of expressing the discontentment and the dissatisfaction that people have with this guy. It was like, it was contempt, it was madharau, it was...
If it was like that, it has happened before. President Uhuru, the same in Migori happened. The shoe was thrown to him.
Yeah, but you see, the country was not where it is today. The fact is that Kasongo, within the remaining period, cannot turn things to anything else. This affordable housing is staggering, is staggering with violence to the people of Kenya. And that's what we are saying. As and when we take power, the first thing that we shall do is to restore this country back to the path of the rule of law and constitutional regime. That if you want to alienate government land or public land, there's a set out procedure that must be followed if you want to alienate or if you want to take that government land. Let's, for example, Western Hotel. Kasongo has been having the plan and he has been orchestrating the plan of stealing that land. And he thinks that he has succeeded in stealing it.
But I still think that the matter is in court still.
No. It was settled. If you read the standard,
And
it was
they said they are
settled.
going to compensate back.
It was settled in a very skewed way. And that's what I want to...
Okay.
That Kenyans should not get worried. As and when we get power, we shall get you back your KAA land, irrespective of the court orders that may be existing. Why? Because what he did, he engineered KAA, Kenya Airport Authority, to file a suit for a claim of that land in court. When that suit was filed, Kasongo engineered and made sure that the lawyers, and then KAA sued Western Hotel. Then Kasongo changed the MD and he brought a favorable managing director of Kenya Airport Authority. Then the managing director did what is called change of advocates, and they brought the firm of Nyachai, who was to be the chairperson of the IBC. And Nyachai was instructed to go to court and record a consent with Western Hotel saying, we have agreed to sell this land to Western Hotel. And the judge recorded that consent. But Koge, what they do not through that mechanism, that is fraud of the highest order. Why? Because in this country, we have an act of parliament called Public Procurement and Disposal. That act is the one that governs how public properties. So as long as that alienation, and then number two, the person in charge of public land who can say that I have given you this public land, allotted you this land or not, or sold you this public land or not, gone. And we are filing a case, we are filing an application in court to set aside that ruling, because that's not ruling, that court order, because that order is again, cannot conspire to alienate government land when there is a set out procedure how government land or public land must be alienated. So we are filing that application to set aside that illegal consent.
Very good.
That fraudulent consent.
Right.
And Kasongo should take in. I joined Jubilee.
Okay.
In 2017.
Right.
And now I have left Jubilee.
You have joined?
I am now in Wiper.
You are in Wiper?
Yes, I'm now in Wiper.
Kalonzo Musyoka party?
Yes. Kalonzo, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka.
You are a member
my party leader
of Wiper party?
Yes.
And a supporter of one-term movement?
Absolutely.
And
not just a supporter, but the proponent of the One Kenya movement. Remember, I am the one who started tweeting about one term, even before anybody else ever mentioned it.
You still have
so
interest
I'm the
of
proponent.
Vying in Kirinyaga?
This thing is not about me. It's not about whether I have the interest of vying or not. It's about what happens to our country if I keep quiet. What if you don't speak out? What will happen to our country if I do not do that little thing that I can do to change things? What will happen to our country if I don't get involved in the movement of change? So this thing is not about me. It's not about His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua.
Right.
It's not about his direction.
You having interest in Kirinyaga?
My interest at the moment is to sort out the mess, or to be involved as an agent of change in sorting out the mess in this country.
I'm asking you
whether I'll get a seat therein after or not. It's not an issue that would really bother me, or a cup of tea from. This thing is not, the one-term movement is not about an individual.
The reason why is because
about
you have
us.
Contested before and you are still in the political.
No, I would not really say that. The last time I contested was in 2013.
Okay. 2017 yes. You are not in parliament?
In 2013, we stepped down for Jubilee Party.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what happens, because now I can see the Mount Kenya of this region, do to zone and to ensure that you have equitable way of distributing these positions?
Our principals are speaking. They are negotiating. We are also helping them in decision making. And a settlement will ensue. We are contemplating a scenario like the 202 scenario.
Okay.
Where we had propounding, where we had the NAC Mwenge as a coalition, and the NAC Mwenge fronting all candidates under the umbrella of the coalition. So we are contemplating and propounding the ideology and the theory of the 202 and repeat of the 202 processes.
What's your take on what happened in Tanzania through our activists who had gone there for
It's quite unfortunate, Koge.
Yeah.
And kindly allow me to pass my pole to the victims. And it is showing the rising intolerance that is rising, the political intolerance that is cropping up in Mount Kenya region. Sorry, in East Africa. It tells you that if you have bad leadership around you, they have the capacity of infecting your neighbors. You can see Kasongo is silent when his subjects are being sodomized and victimized in a neighboring country. He cannot speak. If this was in Israel and an Israeli finds himself in that position, I'm telling you, you'd have heard Netanyahu speak about it. But because we have an irresponsible government led by irresponsible people, carefree characters, people with full don't care attitude, they don't care as long as things sorted out. You know, they perceive us as their enemies.
Even in Tanzania, you blame the government of the day.
But as Kasongo spoken about it, even the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Who is the Kenyan ambassador to that country?
No, don't even say we are looking at the political class.
Okay.
That even Mudavadi himself, and I will not blame him because he lacks the capacity to do so. He has massively. How diplomatic when someone is limping from assault? How diplomatic can you be when you're bleeding? How diplomatic can you be when you are hurt? How will diplomatic cure the mess? We do not just need diplomacy. We need actions being taken and justice being pursued against the perpetrators of this heinous crime. So diplomacy will not cure anything. And because of the laxity of the government of the day, that such kind of things are happening. And you can see the Inspector General of Tanzania has responded and distanced himself from that heinous act. It tells you that Kasongo sent his people to do it. That's the only investigation has commenced. Nothing.
Given a moment with the president, what can you advise him to do?
I'll tell him to pack and go. I'll tell him, Mr. President, you are a cancer to this country. I'll tell him, Mr. President, I'll tell Mr. Ruto, please, before you leave State House, return all the money that you have looted from this from our coffers. I'll tell Mr. Ruto, before you leave State House, return all the land that you have stolen. I'll tell Mr. Ruto, before you leave State House, apologize to the victims of Kiambaa Church who were killed during the post-election violence. I'll tell him, don't just stop at apologizing to the victims of the post-election violence. Restore them back to their land, because most of them have never gone back to their land. I'll tell him, Mr. Ruto, if truly you are a Christian, do what Zakayo did when he had an encounter with Jesus. He returned some, he paid what he had taken double. He paid it twice. Do exactly that, Mr. Kasongo. I would of course advise Mr. Kasongo that, Mr. Kasongo, we shall follow you. We'll make sure that justice will reign like a river. We shall follow you to make sure that you answer to your heinous crimes.
Mr. Wakil.
And I'll tell him, Mr. Ruto, I have no apologies to make.
Mr. Wakil's sentiment from the former deputy president.
Yes.
Citing that those party.
Not former deputy president.
Impeached.
The deputy president, the second deputy president.
Who was impeached.
Whether he was impeached or not, he remains the second deputy president.
Who was impeached?
Whether he was impeached,
he was the deputy president of this country.
He remains the second deputy president.
Yeah, and
he will go to his grave holding that title. But you remember, those matters are in court.
They are still having the
yes, and you remember, there is high possibility that we shall succeed.
What if we succeed on this case? What happens?
We shall manage to quash the impeachment.
Then you get all the benefits?
No, then we shall soldier on to remove Kasongo.
That is only what will happen.
It will add the impetus.
There isn't attack from him.
Yes.
To the political parties.
Yes.
From this region.
Yes.
And in fact, I want to quote what he said.
Yes.
That the Jubilee Party ni wheelbarrow nyekundu, and people should not subscribe to those party sababu they are Ruto's party. Mkono moja munaita watu walete uwiano, mkono ingine munapiga watu.
His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, he has a benefit of information and intelligence that I do not. So when you hear him speak, he must be speaking from, and he has a reason why he's raising those issues.
Do you think that this time the Mount Kenya people will go united?
Yes.
To the ballot?
The Mount Kenya people are already united.
Do you have a key?
And by the way, it is even worse because we are not just Mount Kenya North or East. We have also brought in our brothers and sisters from Kamba Nation. They are part and parcel of the Mlima.
Do you think the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki is a factor?
No.
He isn't.
He is not a factor.
Why?
You know, hawezi kucheza hii league. Hii si league yake. Ile league anacheza ni league ya kina Sudi na kina Sisile Mbarire. Hiyo ndio league yake. Hii ni noma. Hii haezani. Hii ni noma.
Programs.
Ask Wakiromba. That's what Wakiromba can answer you. She will of course tell you that this is nonsensical.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate that Kithure Kindiki can decide to reduce our people to beggars. You know, today umenipaya maharagwe. What happens tomorrow when I call this maharagwe? That cannot change anything. It's not empowerment. It is making you lazy. You understand? George Koimbori is recovering in the current hospital.
Right.
I was with him today. I may not disclose much of his medical details because much of it are confidential.
Right.
But the doctors are saying that he's doing well. But there are some to that exposure. First of all, the media on Wednesday. And it took them 3 days to notice that the number plate of that motor vehicle had been obliterated or it had been adulterated. And it took the director of... Is that conduct consistent with innocence? Number two, what was the chain of custody of this motor vehicle? When it was impounded, didn't they do preliminary inspection of the motor vehicle as required by the law? The law requires that as an inventory, was an inventory generated as at the time of impounding the motor vehicle? Another question arises. The DCI has never visited Mheshimiwa Koimbori at the hospital. How did he know that George Koimbori was not assaulted?
The associate of George Koimbori have been taken to the...
Yeah, investigations are going on.
Yes. And they claim to give the information.
And of course, if they claim to be giving this information, then you might then ask yourself, this man who was the chairperson of CDF has been accused of giving false information. Right? Why has the state not charged him to date?
Okay.
Is it that they feel ashamed to charge their fellow accomplice? Because they may say they are investigating the offense of abduction. How about that offense that is prima facie on the face of record? Why have you not charged him for that offense of giving false information?
So, from where you sit?
Let me just finish. Number 6. Why did they strategically withdraw the security that was attached to George Koimbori?
Okay. So, to where you sit,
yes.
George Koimbori was abducted, not self-abducted.
This is a government that is credited internationally for abductions. It's a government that has previously denied this heinous, inhuman conduct of abducting people. Is a government that has previously denied the commission of crimes against humanity of abduction and forceful disappearances of civilian population. Remember when Kavuli and Kibet and Billy Mwangi and Muteti were abducted, they made statements that those boys had abducted themselves. So they have previously denied this conduct. If you see something that looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, wades like a duck, it must be a duck. There is nobody who can believe what this government says. They have 0 rating in terms of creditworthy, in terms of confidence with people's confidence, in terms of people believing in what their government says. They have serious trust deficits.
Right.
And therefore, it is for them to say that Koimbori abducted himself, yet today is still undergoing treatment out of those assaults. It's only to remind us what happened to Dr. Ouko. And remember, at the time of Dr. Ouko, Mr. William Ruto was a KANU youth winger of KANU YK92. At that time, the government that William Ruto was serving told us that Dr. William Ouko shot himself, poured acid on himself, and took himself to the forest. I mean, even lying requires a bit of intelligence.
In Kirinyaga, is SHA working?
Sorry?
SHA in Kirinyaga.
It has never worked. Kagi, there's nothing in this government that is working.
But I've seen some people producing receipts that SHA has cleared their bill.
Which people? Those are Kasongo manipulators. Those are Kasongo engines.
You mean it's totally not working there?
There's nothing that is working in this country, not just SHA. And that's why I'm saying, as and when we take government, our biggest responsibility will be to restore the things that Kasongo has spoiled. One thing,
All right.
we shall restore the freedom of your payslip. We shall free your payslip. I want to say that your payslip shall be free. We shall restore confidence, certainty, and predictability in our education system. We shall restore a public health system that works and that is responsive to the plight of the people. We shall restore the rule of law and the spirit of constitutionalism in this country. We shall restore public discipline in the civil service. We shall have a civil service that is working for the people of this country. Those are some of the policies that we are going to push forward. We shall restore the dignity and the integrity of your country. The image of your country has been eroded by Kasongo and its cables. We shall make sure that a Kenyan walking in the streets of London will be respected as he was before. Today, when a Kenyan is walking in the streets of London, we are either pointed at us, that is a country that kills its young people. That man comes from the country that is supporting, that is colluding with the rebels in Sudan in exchange of gold. When we walk in the streets of Lagos, the people point at us and they tell us that is a country where the president was accused in the ICC as having actuated and perpetrated the heinous acts of Kiambaa Church. That confidence, the name of our country shall be respected again. The integrity of our nation shall be restored. We'll make sure that Kenyans walks again proudly free with their heads high before the Committee of Nations. So tuko na kazi nyingi sana ya kufanya tutakapochukua ushukani wa awamu ya 6.
We'll be waiting, tutakuwa tunagoja because the same narratives zilikuwa mingi.
No, you see Koge, the difference between us and them is clear. That William Ruto government is a transactional government.
Your government will be?
Our government will be a restorative government.
Who will restore back the sanity?
We the people shall take place and hold hands in restoring sanity in this country. We the people shall.
Right.
Remember, there's a generation called the Gen Z that is clamoring for good governance. That is clamoring for the restoration of democracy in our country. That is claiming for the restoration of the rule of law in this country. They are calling for the elections of people, for men and women who are endowed with the requisites, principles, and doctrines of integrity. That is what the people want. And that is what we shall exactly give to the people.
Right. Your closing remark, Bwana Wakili.
My closing remarks is to tell our people that they should not lose hope, that the sun shall set and the sun shall rise again. I want to tell the people to join the movement of Ukombozi Sasa, because we are in that space where we want to restore our country. We're in that space where we want people to join hands with us to reclaim back our country. We're in that space where we want people to join hands with us to rebuild and reconstruct our country. We're in that space where we want people to join hands with us to take criminals to where they belong, and that is prison. However, we promise the criminals that we shall undergo through the due process of law. We shall not witch hunt you. You'll be arrested, taken to court and you undergo the due process. And we shall make sure that there is no innocent man who shall be persecuted or prosecuted. You'll go through the processes and you clean and cleanse your name. Because this country will not change unless we go for the big fish. And the movement is committed towards that processes. I am not the spokesman of the movement, but I have the ability to speak because I know what the movement is calling for. So fellow Kenyans, do not lose hope. All what I would beseech you is to join hands with us and believe in the possibility of a one-term movement. Believe in the possibility that William Ruto is one term. Work towards achieving that possibility. Let us invest our resources and our time towards realizing the possibility of the movement.
Right. Thank you. That was our time with Wakiri Ndegwa Njiru. Na twakorwo tukiria maundu maingi muno na ndiramwirite turikorwo tugetha muthenya twakorwo tukidiscuss maundu tuingi turahutia andu because it's time to talk. It's time to make sure andu aitu nimamenya uhoro uria wama. Tukwirana ndeto ciothe tukwaria tugithie githurano-ini tugathi turi andu mohigirireire na mamenyete maundu maingi. Etagwo Wakiri Ndegwa Njiru na niwe wakiri uria twakorwo twinake ndetia muthenya umuthi ni muthuri wa cira wega. Ndenda guthie break kidogo nitukorwo tugicokereria na bwana Kimani wa kuma kuria Kino na oho nitukorwo tukereria andu uria makoretwo magitunywo kana guskamu indo kwetukira wonjoria-ini wa migunda. Nitukorwo tugetha na mundu witagwo Wilston Holmes kuma kuria mwena wa USA. Tukorwo tweka Zoom meeting nigetha tukorwo tukereria nake maundu maria makoretwo makirwo no ni thutha wa gukorwo tukiaria na muthuri ti Kimani ari former MCA wa kuria Kino. Tugoto inake tugothio break kidogo tucokererie. Njitagwo MC KOGI'S.